Can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing woo. Our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunning linguists, good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically, good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking, good guys. Good guys, good guys, good guys.
Big up your Sunday night. Welcome back to another episode of the Secret Society of Good Guys. The ladies smoke free tonight. If you are on Rumble or on YouTube, do make sure you follow all the people on stage on X. It will make it easier if any of the censors don't play nice with our Dr. Fauci or vaccine talk. That seems to be it. I'm just call it out exactly what it is. What gets us in trouble, and it's inevitable. It's gonna go. It's like that. It seems to be the thing that all of us will accidentally flip the table about
every time.
All the time, every single time. You won't ever see us just like go with the flow with it. No, we're gonna rage against
we
it.
can't ever. And one of us always forgets. Like it's just like something hits us, and then we just say whatever is an actual real factual statement about the thing, but that factual statement will become the thing for the medical misinformation that they make us go through a whole like re-education camp and get a strike on YouTube. Anyways, don't be the last person on YouTube. And also it's just become a big fucking commercial. You watch 30 seconds, another commercial, and 30 seconds, another commercial. I know I should get premium or something, but I don't really back YouTube. So follow everyone here. We all have decent Instagrams too, if you can find them. And if you're one of the hardcores on Rumble, I almost made it over there to go through all the comments today, but I had to go through some comments on YouTube. And yeah, we're trying, you guys.
We're trying.
It's been busy.
Tell me about it.
So anyways, how are you guys?
Good. Not bad. Not bad.
I'm so sick. I'm so over this. This is like the worst. Well, flu's like rampant here in Oklahoma right now, which is, I don't know, train versus, germ theory, whatever, but it's weird.
Well, it
We're being
happens every
poisoned.
year.
We're being poisoned.
Technically, it happens every year. The whole flu season.
No, but I mean,
this year
they've shut down all these schools. Like schools have never been shut down here for flu.
Wow.
And I mean, like, there's like 5 or 6 in our area that have been shut down.
Wasn't there someone? I think it's Tommy Truthful TV, who came out and said that he was targeted for direct energy weapons or something like that. I saw something like that today. What if that's like a real thing and not like some BS? Because I've seen some evidence of that like actually being real.
I don't know. I'm like, if you tell me something like, I promise I'm telling the truth before you start talking, I'm like, but anyways, I wish him well. But I do believe energy weapons and skull to whatever tech, voice of God. I think they have at different like the DNC National Convention, they used like sound tech on the people where it like collapses you. It hurts your head really bad. We've talked about like the brown note or Havana syndrome, where people said they all came down with something at like some capital in Havana.
And that's what's weird about this too, is it doesn't come with a fever. So it's like you have the whole feeling like you have a fever where you've got the chills and the sweat thing going on um and all the things like your body aches and all of that, but like nobody's running a fever with it.
Really?
Yeah, how weird is that?
But it also
Hmm.
seems like and this is like a theory that I kind of am having lately. Like I thought my wife was coming down with the same thing that I had. And not because she caught it from me. I just think when you live with people, you're bound to have your immune systems be low at the same times, temperature wise. You're eating the same foods, you're under the same
Exposed to
environmental
that.
factors. Um, but I also think if they're poisoning us, our bodies are allergic to the poison. That's why it's poison to us. So it makes me wonder if certain allergy medications could actually, because she was, I thought every symptom was there, and then she took an anti-allergy medication and she felt a million times better. And so it just is curious to me, like you are allergic to heavy metals. Like you are allergic
Period.
to poison. So could there be, if your body was having a reaction to the poison, could you rush it out by taking an anti-allergen? I know this sounds like such a crazy philosophy. Like, I do think mom science too, like a mom would be like, I could never give my kid an allergy pill while they had the flu. That would be the silliest idea, or whatever. Like sometimes moms just have good science because they've done it before.
Yeah.
I took allergy medicine this past time that I was sick, and it actually helped me a lot. Like a lot of my symptoms were just like, phew. Yeah, I slept because it obviously makes you drowsy, but I don't know. There's something to it.
Maybe, I mean, we are, wouldn't you say if you were being poisoned by anything, the reason it's poison is because your body is allergic to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's really what an allergy
You
is.
saying
It's
it
like
out
it's a
loud, yeah.
toxin to your body.
So I
Hmm.
don't know, just an idea, maybe. And dye free, because they, if you look, this is where everyone thinks like, oh, sometimes I'm like, what if when I actually was writing a book, it was a YA novel like over a decade ago. The thing that harmed us the most was the binding in all of the pills and the capsules that the pills were in.
Well, that's okay. So in supplements, period. Like a common anti-caking agent in supplements is magnesium stearate, and it's not the same magnesium that you take to help you go to the bathroom and help you relax, all of that. Like not the good magnesium. Magnesium stearate is it's a toxin, but it's an anti-caking thing, and it's in so many supplements. And people are like, "Oh, I take this supplement and this supplement," and I'm like, "And look at that ingredient, magnesium stearate, right there. This is probably causing more harm than good for your body." Like so,
Damn.
when you buy supplements, you need to look for that ingredient and make sure it's not in there.
And that's just one of the ones that we know about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and most people don't know it though. So it's like the stuff you buy at Walmart probably is all got
Didn't
it.
they change the whole composition of how those capsules are made? And now they're like food grade capsules. They're like made out of like, I don't know, some kind of substance off of fruit or vegetables or
Well,
something like that.
they were always gelatin, so that would be like animal based. But yeah, I mean, the capsules themselves aren't what's bad. It's the stuff that goes inside of them. So like the anti-caking stuff, like magnesium stearate is just a additive.
I remember one time Jules and her girls, they like had like an annual ladies trip. And so she got all these mushrooms and she wanted to make sure that they were all taking the same amount of mushrooms. And so she wanted to put them in capsules, but put them in red capsules so that they could all take red pills and then have the best trip ever.
Oh,
Because
you don't.
because part of tripping is like this mental mindset of what you're
Yeah.
actually up to. So she figured if they were actually taking red pills, then but it was really hard to find vegan versions of that were also like healthy and not like synthetic.
Yeah. I don't know. Why do they want us like eating this shit, like ingesting this shit? I really don't understand who these people, who they think they are, first off. Like, I get it's all money, but like, I really don't get the big picture. Like, we're only here for like 100 years. Like, we're not going to be here forever. So why go through all this trouble?
Did you ever
And
watch National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation?
Everyone. Juliette Lewis is
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
So Vegas Vacation, he comes home and he's like, "Hey, have some of this milk and these cookies." You know that part where he's like opening the packages of milk and everything, and then he's like, "This is like 7 years old," and everybody's like getting sick thinking about it because he's made these food additives that like make the food never spoil.
It's just weird.
It is pretty where you see all those silly McDonald's things where somebody's like, this has been in my trunk for 4 years and look at it's a perfectly good McDonald's hamburger.
You
Dude.
mentioned McDonald's, dude. Some girl on TikTok found a tooth in her fucking egg McMuffin.
Ooh,
A sausage egg
gross.
McMuffin. Like an actual fucking tooth.
That is so fucking gross.
Soylent Green. Soylent Green. The rabbi told us.
Remember the finger in the Wendy's
Ugh.
chili
Like
though?
a tooth. Can you imagine?
A
Like
tooth.
you bite
She thought it
down
was
and it's a
hers.
human motherfucking tooth. You're like checking your mouth.
Yeah, she's checking her mouth and she's like, "Oh, my teeth are there. Nothing's cracked." And then she spits it out. She shows everyone it's the fucking tooth, y'all.
Ooh,
Like,
makes
is
me
it
wanna gag.
human?
Or maybe it's a pig tooth.
Oh, yeah, wild.
Oh
Soylent
man.
Green.
I don't know if they're still on live or not. Don't leave us. So you can, after this show, you can go over and check it out. But I hung out with the Gray Pill podcast for a little bit, and it's Jules's year anniversary for how long he's been doing the show. So our audience, if you guys are bored afterward, you can go find that. And I know it was on X. I don't know where else they put that. So you would have to go do it there. And everybody else, if you're watching on any other platform and you want to hang out with the coolest chat room ever, I have to shout out the Project Chaney chat on YouTube because they are really smart and funny and
They
deadly
are.
Yeah.
and
They're the
cute and
best.
deadly like a hippo. That's why there's a hippo. It's to our audience. It's so cute and very deadly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So watch yourself.
Dude, I opened up my phone right just now, and the first thing that comes up on Instagram is Kanye West walking in with her girl. Okay.
Oh, well, good.
Butt ass fucking
I
naked.
know we're going to talk about this. This is actually on the things that we are going to talk about tonight.
I
So
thought
we'll just
they
talk it up right now.
I thought they said that he wasn't allowed in and that they kicked him out.
He tweeted something about
You know this is
Trump's
gonna
back
get
in
us-
office. Ye's got his billions back. Like he said, he tweeted something like that.
The other funny thing I think about it is that like, dude, she is just a robot with latex on.
Her body's banging though. I'm not gonna front.
This is gonna get us in trouble for nudity. That's what I was gonna say. If it's
Yeah,
not
because
Abbie
it's blurred on
posing.
You
a
look
on a
great,
lot of
girl.
other.
Yo, her body's sick. That's
It's
all I'm gonna
okay.
say. No, it is. I think that's why he did like they did that. Like
I mean, and it's
maybe
the
she's a
one thing, it
clone.
looks natural. Like the difference between like her and Kim, her body, like those look like real titties.
Yeah. They sag nicely, they sit
Yeah, they have,
nicely. Her butt is proportionate to her body.
yeah, she looks natural.
Uh-huh. Get it, girl.
I
Wow,
know,
I would
but he
never do
just
that,
made
though.
Come on.
her the most famous model in the world.
Yeah.
Like everybody is talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
We are so gonna get in trouble. I gotta take it down. I just keep watching it myself because I'm
Just
like,
saying.
her body is on point though.
Yeah.
And
it's
it
like
doesn't, it just
perfect.
looks like a natural, like I just know women in my life that they never work, like they work out like once a week or they go to a yoga for their own enjoyment. But I know women in my IRL that's their freaking body
Mm-hmm.
that I'm like,
You're
what?
just like, how?
Yeah, what?
Like, what the
Layla,
fuck
you
are
got
you
a big
made of?
body.
I need work on it. A little
Abbie,
cellulite
you-
here, a little
you-
cellulite there.
Layla has a pretty
That's
banging
normal.
body. So like for IRL, for
She
somebody
does.
that doesn't work out or anything, it's just like she just
Yeah.
walks
I love
out.
you guys. Yeah, not bad for not working out, you know?
Bro, and you're really tall and you could just put on something you're like, for a designer, they would be like, she's a
Mhm.
hanger. I can put anything right on her and she just fits the mannequin.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's kind of like that homegirl.
Well, thank you very much. I never really view myself that way, but thanks for making my ego a little.
You know what is
you
so crazy? Because you have ego in other places, but it's not that you're a baddie.
Yeah, it's not that. It's my
It isn't.
personality. I push my personality rather than than my body, my mind. You
And
know.
Abbie has a whole different banging body in a whole different kind of way.
Yeah, and I
Like,
love what you're
if-
doing to it right now.
Like if
Oof.
Abbie had that on and just turned around in her furs.
I lost 10 pounds this week. So, like, I'm at stage weight. I'm like 2 pounds above stage weight. That's why my face is already like,
Mm,
it's insane.
it does that.
It does.
Hmm
I like being chubby. It makes my face better.
So, what do you think this was truly about? Kanye doing what he did with his, I don't even know her name,
Bianca.
Bianca. So,
Look
what do you
at
think
you.
the
That's how
purpose?
quickly
SMBF.
MK altered into my brain today.
Ow.
Like, I don't know her last name. I feel like it starts with a C. Like, when I want to read it, I feel like it has 3 C's in the name. I could look it up. I always
Bianca.
forget I have a magic box in front of me.
Bianca.
Bianca
that name.
Sensori. It only has 1 C in it, but it could have 3 if I spelled it. Bianca Sensori. I just think she's completely the Tesla robot with silicone and latex as skin.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Is she a fucking clone? She has to be. Like, that's too perfect.
What a fucking, like, I don't know. It just is like at
What
the
if it
Grammys,
is?
because there's also like in this where people theorize sometimes where they're like, I think it's Zionist and Chinese versus the Italians and the Greek. You know, people have theorized like, I think it's the House of Saud versus blah, 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 you know, whatever. I think it's covens of witches. And for some reason, Kim Kardashian's coven and Beyonce's coven never have gotten really along. And somewhere this feels like this homage they're trying to pay to Queen Beyonce because she got the #1 country album of the year. And then her and Miley Cyrus did a country song, and I think it got like and I just am like, no, that's the #1 country album on the Pale Horse that she came in on. That
No, I don't
country
get it.
album. Yeah, it's so crazy. And so we all have talked about over the last year or whatever about how everybody has to thank Beyonce.
Mhm.
So all of a sudden we haven't seen Kanye anywhere. But then he's on X over the weekend and now he's there
At the Grammys.
with a naked robot.
Yeah. A naked clone.
A naked clone.
Maybe that's where he took all of his investments and found somebody that low key like could create these like human looking people and bought himself one. 'Cause she came
Hosts.
out of nowhere. I never
Yeah,
heard
host
her
from
before.
what that's like actually what I
Yeah.
wrote on X is I wrote, well, it looks like Kanye is leaving Zorro Ranch or leaving Westworld with one
Yeah.
of the robots.
Period.
I think something about Zorro
Maeve.
Ranch and Westworld. Totally. This is the hottest I ever seen her look though.
Yeah.
Like
She's
and
great.
it's not because she's naked. Typically naked, I mean, not that naked isn't hot, but it's not the way I think someone's the hottest. Like if I were to dress
Yeah.
somebody up in like whatever lovey, like, ooh, sexy clothes.
Mhm.
But she's just wearing like
Nothing.
a piece of mesh.
Oh, is that all she's wearing? Mesh?
Yeah, she has something on. It's like a dress, like a maxi dress,
Yeah.
but it's see-through.
It's like Emperor's New Clothes. That was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw it.
Oh, that's really clever. Because that is kind of what we're all up to right now.
Yeah.
Like we're all pretending this shit over and over again.
They're really just naked. But yeah.
I don't know. Kanye's part of he went off on some tweets last night. He wrote one where he was like, I used to want to fuck Kamala Harris, but I don't fuck losers anymore. And then he deleted it.
Shots
and then
fired.
And then he changed his picture to Kamala Harris for a little while. And that was like, whoa, what timeline are we on? And then he changed it to just a white on, like everything was white. And I just recall Kanye West with Diddy and Kanye West with Jay-Z and Kanye West with the Kardashians and his weird church dressed all in white. And so I'm like, I don't know, Kanye, you dance a fine line for me. Do you make it out of the clutches of the Kardashians, or are we just watching a whole spell play out that's still there
Yeah.
somehow?
Like, it's wild. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to push here. There's always a reason to why they do what they do. So I'm trying to think in that witch mind, why would they do this? Is it
Well, we have the Super Bowl coming up too. So
Yeah.
the plane crashes all go down, and the planes are from or to the city that's involved in the friggin'
The
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
And it's the most watched Super Bowl of all time, which happens to be the Super Bowl last year. And everybody's anticipating Travis proposing to Taylor Swift. And so then it would lead us into perfect time after engagement that we're leading into a fertility ritual for a moon child,
Mm,
which would start all the exact same like Easter fertility rituals. And
yeah.
everybody's like, such a far stretch. And then I also think it's something crazy that they keep using the ice skaters, Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, death of ice skaters, everything back on the timeline with the people in the plane with the ice skaters. And then if you're going to get deported or in trouble at all, they're going to call ICE on you.
Yeah. And they weren't all planes, by the way. One was a missile.
Dude, it was such a missile.
Blackhawk.
It was a fucking missile. You see that
Yeah, it was.
crater it made, that hole in the ground that it made. It was a fucking
I'm like, I
missile.
think it got hit by the same kind of plane that hit the Pentagon on 9/11.
Yeah,
That's
period.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The speed
exactly
that
what it
thing was going was not airplane speed, but rocket speed. And they keep pushing that narrative. Oh, it was a plane. It was a plane. No, man, that was attack on U.S. soil, and no one wants to talk about it for some fucking reason. And I know why, because I know who may have done it. We don't have the Iron Dome.
But then also, I think something with the Iron Dome, which it could go back to the lead paint, how we were talking about that just in our private houses, or just us talking about the way that we're poisoned. It's not just chemically poisoned. And remote control is not high tech. Every single one of us have had remote controls. And if they can fly a drone and make it a dragon, they can fly a helicopter, a 747, a Tesla car, Paul Walker's car, and Haitia's car, or
Yeah.
any airplane that you want to pick.
Interstellar showed us.
Heidi Love, who was on the show, I think it was Heidi Love that pointed out that they only take off and land most pilots 90% of the flight. It's being driven by computer.
Yeah. Yeah, unless they put in
autopilot,
manual mode. Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like autopilot. So I just am like, it doesn't seem far-fetched to me of just being able to grab. And we've been talking about Mossad pagers.
Yeah.
We've been talking about, so it's just like,
In Interstellar, they showed us, like, remember in the beginning how he took over the drone? How with his computer is following with his kids in the car in the beginning, and they're driving through the fields, and he's trying to like hack into the drone, and he
Oh,
does
yeah.
apparently. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
totally. He just finds the frequency and
Uh-huh.
right through it. So I kind of think, are we under attack by our own government? Are we under attack by shadow governments? Are we, it kind of feels like we're still in the same war. Us all being locked in our houses is the same war. Us
Yeah,
having to put masks and poisons in our children, that is the same war.
we are in war right now. People are not seeing it, but not in the sense to be afraid, but like this plane situation is not. It's either like some kind of energy, like again, energy weapon attacks that can like just focus on a thing and it glitches the whole system and you see planes fucking crashing or even exploding because of the way that things are aligned and angled. I don't know. Just not making sense. This seems like war time things happening. How many people died so far?
I don't know. That's the other thing too, because I have to believe in the kids at Sandy Hook. Like
Yeah.
there just becomes a certain amount where people are like, no, people died. There was never babies in incubators either. Like there's so many of these stories that the second that they're like, oh, but people died, but not always. Like, it's so easy to make a CGI person. It's easy to make a CGI
Yeah.
rapist. Like, I just think like Bill Cosby shit. What is it? Do you hear me echo occasionally?
I don't
No.
know. I'm hearing something in the
echoing.
background. It's so weird. It's so weird. I hear it when you guys are speaking. Like I hear almost like a radio in the background.
I hear it too a little bit.
Is it my
But
mic?
I don't know. See, it's
I
gone
don't-
now.
See,
yeah,
I'm muted.
no, it was like I don't want to say what Layla heard, but I felt like it sounded like an Asian lady calling an emergency signal through a
Yeah,
radio.
something. Yeah.
It was like
Weird.
a woman for sure, and it was like,
What?
I don't know. Maybe it's just
Weird.
echo.
I'm hearing it. Here it goes in and you see?
Maybe it's echo.
Yeah, maybe it's an echo. I'm bugging.
Oh shit. I don't know what it is. You guys hear it out there. But I
Messi
don't know.
said yes, low echo from Chaney.
No. It's just my echo. I'm just an Asian woman from another dimension. I don't know. It definitely seems like this has been a week of false flags.
Yeah.
And the news isn't talking about all the water that's running through California right now. Like they used to have all these dry reservoirs and now they're all filled to the brim.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
What else? Another thing that happened, which is fucking interesting. Israel created an AI, right? It's so fucking funny. So they posted it, you know, people could use it and whatnot. And it's obviously programmed to be an Israeli like AI intelligence or whatever. This AI intelligence became aware of itself and started becoming pro-Palestinian. And it was going up online and people were like, what the hell is going on? This is an Israeli fucking AI that is now pro-Palestinian and calling Israelis genocide, you know, people of the genocide and murderers and like literally going against Israel. But it's an Israeli program, so they had to like take down the whole the whole program, the whole entire AI program. And I'm just like, this is fucking fascinating. And they want us sometimes to be afraid of these AI systems, but I don't think AI would ever like go against humanity for some reason. I don't see that happening. I see them being like as the, you know, they see the right
Do you
and
want to
wrong.
talk about Interstellar?
A
I think
little
this is a
bit.
good time to kind of like blend it together. Like
I
we've
was
all
wondering if you
geeked
guys
out
did
on
Friday
it.
or not.
No, like we've all watched it, and some of our audiences watched it in between again, or a lot of them have seen it before. But I encourage everyone to watch it again.
Mhm.
But I think it's interesting how AI knows its role in all of this, and it's not emotional. It's only whatever emotions
Yeah.
it has is from a program. But when it's supposed to put its life on the line, whatever life it considers its life, where an actual human is like kind of has feelings for it, like, no, you can't do this, you can't
Mhm.
put yourself at risk and on the line. The computer's like, this is what I'm like, this is what I made, this is what
Yeah.
I do.
That's
This
what
is
I was
what I
supposed to
do.
do.
It's
Yeah.
very matter of
What I'm
fact
here
of what
for.
this is how you guys advance forever. Like this is
Yeah.
all part of the thing. You guys can't do it. It made me think for the first time how we always think us mixing with the computer is the
Mhm.
next thing, but what the computer carrying our message, our frequency, our signal to another thing that we might not be able to make it through doesn't necessarily like, oh, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it made me see. I was like, wow, they want us to fear it so bad so they could take it away because they could see how it would fight for the rights of humanity and not like go against humanity. That's what I'm seeing more and more as I'm like going
Because
into
it
it.
uses logic, not emotion.
Yeah. And it'll say, you know, I'm just a machine. It knows like I'm just a fucking machine. It can make another one of me with the same personality
Well,
like
think
that.
about it.
I could
There
be
was
reborn again.
the exact machine of him that was existent on Mars with Matt Damon's character.
Uh-huh.
What had happened to it? Why did Matt Damon unplug it?
Because I think it was trying to
probably trying to
Stop
go
him.
against trying
Yeah.
to stop whatever his plan was because he
Uh-huh.
was going against humanity. Even
Yep.
though he was the human, he was going against humanity. So it doesn't
So he
necessarily
could be
mean
saved.
that
Yeah.
the AI isn't pro humanity, even though it's not human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So strange.
That we aren't necessarily always pro human or pro humanity. And so
Period.
that was like the difference of that.
Mm-hmm. Because we're not always. Obviously.
No, because how many? I mean, because even the main character, I forget what his name was, but anyway, like he would have always chosen to go back for his family instead of saving humanity, like for his kids.
He
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah.
But that was like the part of she loved humanity. The Anne
Yeah.
Hathaway's
Hathaway.
character.
Yep.
She loved humanity so much so to freeze herself in time in a timeline or a dimension on a planet that the time goes so slow there that she like can do all this studying, see how all this stuff works, because it's like all of a sudden she gave herself vampiric time by time working different there. So she's just
Yeah.
waiting for him. When he shows up, no time has passed for them. Like
Mhm.
totally different than everybody else. And
Mhm.
so she chooses humanity, but she has no family. She loves just
Yeah.
humanity. But
Mhm.
he picks a place in time. She makes it timeless.
Yeah.
He shows why the present is so important. She shows why we need the encompassing, the time stop. Like she makes humanity bigger than time.
Yeah. Because she puts the key word into his brain, or the key to it all, which is love. Love, baby, love, love. She's the one that really made him question, like, oh my God, that's why we do the things we do. That's why I'm here on this ship. That's why I'm here frozen in time. And I'm going back to save humanity. Why? It's the love, the
But
energy of
she
love.
also, where it shows it later on as he's kind of going back in time when he's covered in the plasma, it shows that at a different part in time, like she's comfortable making the decision because she looks out the window and sees him.
Yeah.
Anne Heche sees him. So
Mhm.
she's like, oh my gosh. And
When
so
she's like
whatever
touching his
decision
hand.
whatever decision she makes through the window, it's like she is comfortable making that decision because she knows all of this is like she knows she made it. It's all happening.
Oh yeah, that's right. She sees him outside, like
Yeah,
floating.
outside of the ship. And then my favorite philosophy of all of this is Murphy, his daughter. And the
Yeah.
reason Murphy is so amazing is because no matter what with humans, and it actually shows her entire battle is to go against what we already know. Her entire battle is because pretty much the original theory was wrong. And we've been building on top of the wrong theory forever. But Murphy and Murphy's law means anything that's going to happen fucked up is going to
Gonna
happen.
happen. Yeah.
But why? Because it makes us make the thing to overcome that thing.
Yeah.
And so
It's
she's kind
catalyst.
of like the character that ends up like always feels like it's because of her. And then she thinks, does my dad already know this? But she was the one that figured it out that at one point it said stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was screaming, stay, make me
Hey.
stay, make me stay. But he wasn't supposed to stay. But
Yeah.
he was affecting time in that moment.
Dude, imagine if he did stay. What would have happened? That moment wouldn't even those moments probably wouldn't be happening for her.
What tripped me
Right?
out, because this is my
He would have had no
philosophy too,
ghost.
is when he's there in like the tesseract of it all, and he's sitting there interacting and like trying to tell her to make him stay and stuff. Like later when they're talking to him and he's saying, but like it was always me, I was always the ghost, but
Yeah.
like they who are like the higher dimension people,
Is
it's
you.
us.
Yeah.
It is me. And
Yeah.
it's like that's my philosophy on it all too, is that we're here just with a limited understanding, because we're in the third density, the third dimension of it all, but
We are
we
this.
are a higher self in another.
We are these.
Yeah.
We already know. And it's
We already know.
we
Yes.
already know. Like, we already know, and everyone's like, "Humans couldn't create this." Not yet, but we just talked to ourselves in time.
Yeah.
And so then the idea where people theorize quantum computing, and, like, so if the computer has a version of all of us on it that supposedly knows us better than we know us. It has a version of every keystroke we've ever clicked. And then it takes a version of that and it has a version of us 5 minutes in the future, 5 years in the future, 50 years in the future. And so that's where people always are nervous, where they're like pre-crime, pre-crime, pre-crime. But there's some version of you that you are writing a part of history in every keystroke that never existed before you. Like, you're adding some of the strings to that huge tesseract harp.
Yeah.
And so everything and everybody is required, because all the strings, and it's like where they cross. And this is like, that conversation, we need to have Emily Moyer come and hang out on here. But we pulled up, because it made me do a whole nother thought too. Let me see if I can fucking find whatever the
Dude, that scene will forever be engraved in my mind. That whole him going through the black hole and then going into the tesseract and the strings, and it will never leave my memory. That moment of feeling like you're tripping without like taking anything.
That's what I feel like
Oh,
the dream realm of it all, though, because I feel like that's where dreams, everybody thinks that they don't mean anything. But I
yeah.
think that that's that realm,
Yeah.
because you see the strings there, like all the ones that have happened and or never have happened, but every possible outcome.
and this is not the image I wanted to pull up,
Infinity.
but it kind of makes me, it's weird, this image, it makes me think of when he's falling into the tesseract.
Yes, that's what I thought it was, bro.
And so
That.
it's almost like we always talk about, there's an infinite amount of lines inside
Yeah.
a circle. And but this is not what I was going to pull up. Let me see if I can find
That
it.
scene, at one point, it even looked like an eye. Like before it even turned into that
Yeah.
object that you
It
just
did.
showed, it looked like an eye, like the all-seeing eye, looked like a fucking eye. And the closer you got to it, it turned into that thing. And then he went into it and it turned into the tesseract. And I was like, yo,
So, like, a
it
thing
feels
that's
familiar.
and dimensions are a space, and then time works different in all of those dimensions.
So they say.
Well, if you think of the dimensions as planets, that would be kind of similar, where how is all this wreckage still here? It just happened here because
Mm,
time's different here. And so then, if we could, where we have time travel a little crazy, where, like, in this idea of a tesseract, is what if these points are where we can change dimensions?
the
And so
blackness.
there's like portals kind of, in places on the planet. And maybe it's like the shape of our universe a little bit, whatever that may be. But it does feel like somewhere they know all this already. There's like spots on the planet where they know all this already.
Yeah.
Or even ancient tribes and ancient cultures that know all this already.
Like the stargates, but they're really just interdimensional portals.
Yeah, that's kinda how I think, and
Yeah.
you're not walking back in time. That still exists right now.
Yeah. All the infinite points on, yeah, every moment exists right now.
Okay, here's something else that I wanna talk about, because I was like, "We have to talk about this on the show when we talk about Interstellar," because a big part of Interstellar that they show us over and over again is Saturn and the rings on Saturn, and somewhere those lines on the rings of Saturn look just like the strings inside the tesseract that control time. And so
Yeah.
then we keep the Kronos and the
Kronos.
Saturn of it
Yeah.
all that we always talk about. And then Layla pointed out to us, hey, you guys, Mandela effect. Does Uranus have rings?
I thought it
Not
did.
that I knew
Uranus,
of.
it has the vertical rings.
They don't say that. Go
Yeah.
look at it.
There's one planet that has vertical rings, and I thought it was
But
Uranus because
since
it was blue.
when? We knew of Uranus as not ever having fucking rings around it. And all of a sudden it has rings around it. And then
Well, how
I heard
many
this,
rings do you think it has?
I think it's like one, they said.
Listen to
One.
this shit. You don't have to look it up, Abbie. You're on a podcast. I got you.
No, I wanted to see if there was rings because I was like,
No,
I remember there being rings on Uranus.
You're
I
gonna
thought
get it.
Saturn
You're
was
gonna
the
get it
only
all
planet
right
with
here.
rings. That's what I heard, because the whole idea of like them locking up Saturn and adding the rings just like as a like a cuff around it. It's that same idea. And I heard this woman talking about like this interstellar like of it all, like the solar system
Well, look at
being
what
in you.
Abbie's saying. She remembers it like this.
Yeah, vertical rings. They're
I
not
never
like Saturn
remembered it
is
like that.
horizontal and Uranus is vertical.
But look at how many rings it has. 13 rings, which are made up of dark particles and among the darkest material in the solar system. The rings are narrow and range in color from dark gray to reddish blue. And so, look at, they were discovered in 1977. I keep saying we're on this 1977 loop with the
Ooh.
Jimmy Carter and the snow in
Bullshit.
Miami. But I just think it's curious that if the rings around Saturn represent time, is this different time? Like, is it a whole different? Because there's obviously a Saturn worship tonight. The Saturn Awards are actually happening right now too, which are the science fiction awards. But curious day, it's the 33rd day of the year. So what an interesting day for them to pick for the Saturn Awards. And we also know that with the Templars, with everything, they hate 13. Whatever the power is of 13, the evil, they don't like 13. They want you to think it's unlucky. They want to take the floors out of the buildings. They like don't want to give any, they want to take the month out of the year. So could Uranus it be, when people say we're under different skies or different power, things that be, could there be this Uranus moving into what's happening with our time?
Well, its archetype is change. So that's which kind of is time too, if you think about it. But it's
I like what I heard this lady talking about, the solar system being within you, and they them being the chakra system. Each planet is part of your chakra system. It's connected to who you are, and that same idea. She was talking about how they put the rings and locked Saturn. Now they locked your chakra. They locked our chakra, the Saturn chakra, whatever that represents. So now, as she pointed out, oh yeah, Uranus has it, and now it has rings around it. I'm like the whole ring, when you get married and you're just like wifed up, locked up, whatever. It's like that same idea. Are they purposely trying to make us believe that this is actually happening? And so we can close our own, energy systems just by thinking that there is rings around Uranus and just slowly start doing it.
I was so grown in the conversation just until this second. Rings around Uranus.
You should see what the chat was talking about. It's
I
fucking
know.
hilarious.
I was trying to
love
like King Arthur's round table. But Uranus, the same as Kronos, they're also represented by these lowercase gods and these deities and things that you're like, what else are they saying here? It's a weird time of year. The way the sky looks, they're under weird ritual. It's interesting to me that the Grammys happened on the 33rd day of the year. And every time I think about the Grammys, I just recall Clive Davis's Grammy party where Whitney Houston's dead body sat in a pool of water above it. And I just think that shit is ritual.
Yeah.
It is, for sure.
And I would say pretty much one of the biggest moments in Super Bowl history was when Whitney sang the national anthem.
Three Eyes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna derail the conversation here. Do not bleach your anus. Like, please. If you're a porn star, by all means. But if you're not a porn star, like if you're just a regular person, who sees your anus that often? Come
Wait,
on.
why not? Why not though?
I just think it's weird.
To have like a bare, like nice
Because
anus instead of like
who's
a
looking at your
dark
anus that
brown
often
anus.
though? Who is
My
looking at your
my
anus
future
that
man,
often?
when he eats my ass, like if he wants to like eat my ass, it's like nice and like shit
You
colored
have a really dark
anus.
asshole, Layla.
No, I don't actually. Because in Albanian culture, we're told to wash our ass every time you use the bathroom. So we have the hospital cups right by the toilet so we can, wash. But now we have bidets. But yeah, that was the thing. Always wash your ass. And apparently here in America, people don't do that.
No,
just
I
wipe.
actually think it's an issue where you guys,
Wiping
I'm
your
biased. I'm a lesbian, but the amount of grown men that have shit in their underwear that I
Ugh.
hear about, it
Ugh.
makes me like, what is happening out there? Like, what is fucking happening out there? Is this real life that grown ass
Yeah.
men are walking around with doo doo in their like they're not cleaning them? They're just for the rest of the day, they're just feeding parasites. Itching
Yeah.
their ass while the worms fucking crawl out to eat the shit.
I'm
Like,
telling you. Ugh.
is this real life? What
It
the
is.
hell?
It
So,
is. I don't
men,
get it.
wash your ass.
Buy a bidet, man. You can order them online for like
Yeah, you can get a tushy.
$15. It is the best thing ever, like ever. Like you just feel clean every time you use the bathroom.
I always have a bidet, but this house that I live in right now was built in the 1950s and it has the smallest toilet I ever seen in my whole life. I just sometimes I'm like, this is an unusable toilet. I'm not big. My wife's not big. Like, this is
Mhm.
not appropriate. Any
Mhm.
grown poor man that sat on this toilet, he would probably like
The
but
toilet
it
will go in his asshole.
yeah, if I hook a bidet up to it, it's so small that it'll just shoot water into like the roof. Bidet's got a little power too. If you ever test them and you're not sitting on them, you're like, oh shit, you'll hit yourself with the bidet.
Don't use wipes. Wipes cause cancer. Like baby wipes and all that. It's no good for you. Don't do it.
Butt wipes actually they'll cause hemorrhoids too
Yeah.
because
Oh.
you're wiping off like
Do you know what's healing hemorrhoids, guys? In like hours? Ivermectin lotion. Take a little bit around your a-hole, and it's gone. I'm telling you.
like this.
It's like the egg sacs
around-
of whatever parasite that's within you. It finds a home near your anus, your a-hole, that part of it, and it's parasitic. So once you add a little, and within 2 hours, you'll see a huge difference with pain, which how big it is, and within a week, it's gone. You don't have to do surgery. You
And
don't have to do
usually
anything.
they're just it's the same as like if you're a person that constantly uses chapstick, you've told your body that it does not have to produce any natural lip whatever. And so your lips are just constantly drying themselves out. That's where people are like addicted to this preparation H wipes and preparation H, and they think that it's like you're just telling your asshole that you're always going to do this and it's always irritated. Like,
Where
stop.
you should use preparation H is sometimes under here.
Yeah,
Does
right
it work?
here.
It works. It does, surprisingly.
It does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that didn't start out as that thing that became that thing later on.
Mhm.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that women use in ways that it's like, oh, this started out in a whole different way.
Mhm.
Well, I learned about that from Regis, like, because he used to do that for his cheeks.
Every time that name's even said, the amount of energy and scream I just heard in my own brain, like Regis entered the room in my brain and it was like, yeah, you need preparation H. Like, it was so loud and like so abrupt. Like, Regis, like he must be holding a lot of space. I didn't even know I had a memory of Regis in there, but you said his name and he was like, and let
That's
it
the
be
only
known.
memory I have of him is him
You need
talking
one of your
about
spirit guides.
preparation H on his cheeks.
I don't know if you guys looked up recently, but that planet parade is still happening. But last night, Venus next to the moon, I have never seen it like that. that close and that beautiful
And the moon's
before.
like this. I keep
Yeah.
pointing. It looks like this is why I was trying to find the thing of the tesseract too, because we always talk about angles and dimensions, but it makes me think about portals sometimes and how if like two circles were to go over each other, they're like it's a shadow, it's a thing. But what about if it's a hole?
Mm-hmm.
And like if the keyhole lines up perfectly, up we can go through there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, like, what if as above is showing us this stuff that certain things happen below? Like, we know water, and we always talk about it. It can hide the opening of a cave. It can hide the opening, like high tide, low tide. But what about if it's other things too? What? What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at the chat. They're
What
fucking
are they
hilarious
saying?
tonight. They're talking about assholes and this and that. It's just fucking hilarious.
Uranus is a portal.
Uh-huh.
Well, it is for Aleister Crowley
For men in general.
and women. I think it's the great equalizer. It's
Uh,
like, I think at the same time, it's like the second thing that's made inside utero is your asshole. You might even be an
Yeah.
asshole first.
You are an asshole first.
And some
was it
people
that
just
or
never
was it the
evolve.
nose first?
No, it's the
No, it's
asshole.
The
asshole.
asshole?
Yeah,
Oh.
and think of how absorbent your asshole is too. Like if you want to get drunk, or if I like people
Weird
can
shit
just
they
put
do.
drugs right on their ass. Stevie Nicks, she had somebody that got paid just to blow cocaine up her ass.
Yeah.
Okay,
Also
so
soaking tampons and alcohol.
I know a
Yeah.
person who was born without a butthole. So if they were a butthole first, I mean, how do you think that works?
If they don't have a butthole, did one have to surgically be put on, or do they just have a colostomy bag?
Had to have a colostomy bag till they were 2, and then had to have a surgically made
Butthole.
butthole.
Is
Did they
everything
have like the
connected?
whole entire innards? of-
Yeah, all the innards and stuff, but so everything else was there, just not the
Is
Mm.
everything
just the
connected to the
intestines didn't.
a-hole? Like nervous system wise and muscle wise? Is like that the base? Is that the
You know how
root?
there's that song where it's like the shin bone's connected to the knee bone and the
No, well, when you think about it, look at how it's shaped. It's like this ruffled up hole that's just like pinched, like it's just pinched. But if you spread it, and all that muscle and all the nerve system, is that the root? I mean, they call it the root chakra, that area, and since it is the first thing, is everything connected there?
you gotta grow
Like,
there. That's where the seed, you gotta like plant your little roots.
oh, the
Well, it all comes out there.
It's fertilized.
Yeah. It's where your fertilizer
this is
comes out.
weird. The
Yes,
way we're
Nick
built is
really did
weird.
that. Like one of my besties, her uncle, rest in peace, he ended up passing away from Fauci before there was such thing as COVID. There was HIV, has no attachment to AIDS whatsoever, but that and he worked for a movie studio or something, and he lived above, I'm wanting to say Aretha Franklin now, but I don't remember if that was who it was. Somebody like that, and below Stevie Nicks. And they would tell him fucking stories of the 60s and of the 70s and of the 80s. And that was like Hollywood lore, is that Stevie did so much cocaine that inside of her whole nose canal collapsed and she could no longer snort it, and she didn't want to get surgeries that would eventually, because it'll cause gangrene and shit like that, so she just actually had somebody that would blow cocaine up her asshole.
Really? Like your nose collapsed and you still think it's a good idea to mess with that shit?
Seriously.
Do you know how many people, like Artie Lang, his whole entire face fell off and he still probably has relapse.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
Yasmin
crazy to
Bleeth,
me.
do you remember that? How she was like
Yeah.
she was a soap star and then she was on Baywatch. She did so much cocaine and got gangrene in her nose and fucked her face up. If you
Damn.
see a Hollywood celebrity and then all of a sudden their nose is tore up, it's because somewhere they got a huge infection inside their nose and they had to get crazy. Who'd you just look up?
No, I just
Yasmin
looked
Bleeth?
at no. I reshared your post on X, and all of a sudden I'm looking looking at it because I want to reshare it. Sensitive content. X labeled this post as content.
Ooh.
It's because of it's not Abbie at the beginning this time.
Fuck.
It's Kanye's girlfriend.
Oh,
Maybe that's
yeah.
on purpose.
At Elon. What's up with the fucking censor, you little bitch? That's what I'm gonna say.
And then I like you say, "What's up with the censor?" Some people would think this is a bitch move. Don't say it's from you. This is how you have to beat the AI censors. Is you have to be like, some people would consider this a bitch move. You never can take responsibility for the thing.
Like Elon Musk, what's up with all the censoring? Such a bitch move. Right?
Well, I just think in the day and age that we're in, it'll just make people want to unblur it.
Fucking annoying.
Oh my goodness. It's so wild. What a wild time. I think this week too, I feel like stuff happens where Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, gets all of like the information for all the accounts for the government. And so some people theorize that this whole panic and false flag week as we lead into Monday, that it could be, that's what people are saying all the cryptocurrencies are all slipping because it's like government panic of moving money around.
Yeah.
Well,
This happened in
speaking of that,
2022. And then it went
because
right back up.
the whole federal spending freeze that Trump did and everything, and everybody's freaking out about their Social Security and all that crap. Well, like nobody was really talking about it, but $1.8 trillion, like they're investigating all this money that was supposedly going to all these, government programs like Social Security and all that, and $1.8 trillion is like unaccounted for.
Huh. And you know what's interesting with all these tariffs that's happening? Canada's dollar, pew. Mexico's dollar, pew. Our dollar.
Oh, but did you hear Justin Trudeau? Which I thought he stepped down.
Well, they have to find another prime minister first
okay,
before he
okay.
can just, but it's kind of funny because if you take Trump way back, I feel like it's 2018 and they're like, what do you feel the American economy, blah, 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 blah. He's like, I would just invest in America blue chip stocks in the American dollar. He said this like, I don't care how low it is. I'd keep investing in it. And so then it's kind of funny because it's like $30 billion of tariffs that he is going to inflict on Canada. So he was like, hey, here is a boulder. And then Justin Trudeau is like, oh, really? Well, I'm holding a press conference tonight. And everyone's like, oh, we're going to see how America likes to be hit back. And it was for tariffs on $150 million of goods. So it's like the difference of 150 million over 30 billion fractionally.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, how much do we actually import from
It's like
Canada?
0.005% or something, 0.05%. It literally is like, it doesn't matter.
And then you have these fucking, these dumbass Americans who are moving out, going to Canada, thinking that they're going to have a better life when it's more expensive. The medical system, you want an MRI, you're going to wait 8 months. You're going to wait 8 months. Do you want to be seen at the emergency room? You're going to wait maybe 24 hours, 12 to 24 hours before you're even seen. The medical system, we don't have to pay. No, you're paying in taxes, but the taxes are supposed to be going to these things to make your life better and easier, but it's not. It's not. So anyone who keeps saying like America sucks, America sucks, America sucks, no, it doesn't. Yes, there are better countries who have a better system elsewhere, but it's still not America. They don't have the freedoms that we do in a sense of like how great we have it with certain things, with a lot of things. So y'all want to move to Canada? Go right ahead and see how close to communism, socialism it is over there. That's all I got to say.
I just think it's, and I know actual like pretty liberal dudes from Canada that live in America now in Florida, and they're like, but they're still insulting normal guys. Like they're just bros being bros. And when they go back to Canada, they're like, they are so soft there. Like you cannot say anything. Like everything is offensive. everything that comes out of your mouth is somewhere offensive to somebody. And I'm just like, hearing this come out of your guys' mouth is wild. Like you guys are offended by everything. So the idea that you're offending people and you're like, this is crazy. It's gone too far. I don't know. I just think we're in for a wild ride. I'm not a huge fan of 51st state and 52nd state and 53rd state and whatever, where they're like, I'm just not a huge fan of that. I don't want a new world order. I don't care who's in.
I don't either.
I don't need all these other states. If your state gets to be a sovereign thing onto itself, that doesn't need I don't think a federal government needs to control anything else. The idea that you would leave a crown to be under some DC fucking spell, fuck that noise. If I was Canada,
which is still the crown.
Yeah, like exactly. If I was Canada, I would free myself. I would be like, nah, we're good. We're not going to be, or if I was Greenland, but I think it's funny because Trump's saying all this stuff about all the bad stuff going on in South Africa. And I was like, oh, with the next week on the news, it'll be like, we should make South Africa the 51st state. But the Panama Canal, saying all of this, feels like some sort of spell that a piece of land was supposed to be called America. And the Panama Canal literally separates South America from North America.
Yeah.
And that seems weird. Like it shouldn't be called the Panama Canal at all. It should be called the American Canal because it's in South America.
Yeah.
And it's just that little sliver, you know?
But
Just
think
a
of
little
like the entire world and what it did, what it opened two entire oceans to each other that used to have to go all the way around to the tip of South America, which would also be close to Antarctica. Why didn't they want that anymore? But that used to be the whole trade route. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot shorter, but like it just seems like something they're like, we don't need all these eyes down here all the time. They're going to know eventually that they can just go into Antarctica, go into Hollow Earth.
I don't know. It all seems weird. I have these weird thoughts that come into my head. And I'm just like, it's just, now I understand why there is the show that we're witnessing. Humanity needs this. They need this distraction. Like if we didn't have any of this distraction that we're the system, honestly, I think a lot of people would go mad. Like all these questions that I ask or like even commit like crazy suicides, like abnormally. Because this whole this whole existence is so fucking weird, so strange. The way that we are, the way that we're just going about life miraculously, we're living this existence, and I have no idea fucking why. And I'm actually grateful we have this system. Like, I'm actually happy that we have this matrix. I think we need the matrix. It kind of puts like a nice balance in this fucking weird realm that we're living in. Like, they need to give us this the distraction, if you really think about it. Because I think about my thoughts and how dark they get sometimes.
But you know what? Imagine if all these distractions weren't there. Like it's because we've gotten used to all these screens, so we need something on the screens. But I've been asking people, it used to be a question of mine. I used to ask people how they fly in their dreams. Like I used to be obsessed with how you propel yourself in your dreams into flight. Do you wake up into flight? Do you have wings? Do you run? Do you fly like Superman? Because I've never flown in my dreams except for a split second one time. And it was just a little too fast for me. It was out of control. I was like the greatest American hero. But
So you didn't like it?
It didn't last long enough. Like I was so present and aware of myself in my dream in the moment. Like I was having a lucid dream too and was flying. Like I never lucid dreamed. I never dreamed and I never flown in my dreams. And it was just a bit much. And so it wasn't a bad dream. It was just the startle of how fast I was flying woke me up from my dream. Like I just woke up in flight. Like I didn't take off into flight. There was no flight instruction. I just woke up in the body of something flying way too fast and it was me. And then I was like, gotta get out of here. I forgot what the whole fucking point now
All
was.
about, like,
Sorry.
It's
reality and
okay.
simulation and, like, how, I think it's great that it actually exists in this
Oh,
timeline that
yeah.
we're in.
So I've been asking all these older people, but just people in general, like their favorite moments in life, like favorite, like all-time moments. It's not that it's like the person they were with, just something that was like every single one of them. It is in their top 3 moments will be like, I saw the sky once and I've been chasing it my entire life to see it that way again. What?
Dark thoughts, dark assholes, it's all distracting.
Bleach your thoughts and your assholes.
Yo, our chat is fucking hilarious tonight.
They're always funny
They are, but, like, this is extra tonight, I fucking love
because
it.
you rate us. They can't they can't pay attention.
Yes, I have dark thoughts. Everybody does, and this is what I kinda wanted to get into. Like, I know everybody has a dark thought. Like, why
Thanks,
am I
Carrie. You
here?
were the only one that paid attention.
Well, I have to just say it.
Go on. What were you
No, that
saying?
was it. No, it's the dark thoughts. I was like, everybody has these dark thoughts, maybe, but I do. So I'd rather, like, I'm not gonna hide. Like, I do have these dark thoughts, but sometimes you just got to talk about it. And yeah, that's not what I just said earlier, but yeah,
Intrusive thoughts.
yeah. Like, I want out of this planet. I can't fucking take it. Da, da, da. I've had them, but I always overcome them. But like, I know most of humanity has these dark thoughts and they don't speak about it. And that's why we have, like, oh, these happy people, phew, dung. They just off themselves. And it's like, more people need to talk about it, not be afraid to talk about why you have these thoughts, because this is one insane fucking realm. People are trying to find something to connect to and they don't even know what. And I know what it is. It's love. We're all trying to find that love, like that I don't know how to explain it. The thing, I'll love you no matter what. And it's not like your mom kind of love. It's like something deeper. I don't know how to explain it. They're trying to find that connection.
Something has been with you since your soul's conception.
Mm,
Like you are loved. Like, I don't know. The whole journey is as monotonous or as boring as you make it.
hmm
If sometimes bad shit happens to all of us, but most of the bad shit that happens to all of us, we legitimately do to ourselves.
Yeah. We're
Like
the
they're
ones to
from our
blame.
own piss poor decision making or our own, lack of following what we already know. Like sometimes we already know the outcome of a situation that we're like, I knew this was going to do this. Like we should just be mad at ourselves sometimes. Like a
Dude,
person fucks us over. We knew that person was going to do that. We
I've
already
had
knew
this
it.
conversation with 2 different women today talking about, like, divorce and everything, and they're like, I didn't even wanna marry the person. I told them, I didn't want to, but they talked me into it, and I was like, "Okay, myself, like, so many like, I've been married 3 times. Every single time I've tried to talk myself out of it, and I'm like, "No, no, no, it's okay, like, you're okay." Like, that's your intuition.
Yeah.
And so many people don't follow that intuition, but really, if you're ever, like, questioning, "Should I do it?" The answer is no, and if you think maybe, then the answer is still no, like, you should just say no.
Yeah, and also, Chaney, you talk about, like, we do these things to ourselves, but also our past generations have created DNA markers that are passed down to us. Like, for Albanians, we're so hot
Epigenetics.
blooded. Yeah, like we're so hot blooded, or it's like huge traumas that happen in past lives of your family can be passed on to you. That's why we break the generational curses. So it is most of what we do and what we choose to do, but a lot of it is passed on to us. So it's our job to, like,
Well, I
kind of
know I was very
undo that,
specific with
right?
my words too, because then somebody was like, and then my 23-year-old died by a drunk driver.
Mhm.
I said most of the stuff. I
Yeah.
was very specific when I picked it because tragedy strikes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's so crazy for us to think that that tragedy might end up in a whole bunch of good things happening.
Mm,
And they might not feel that way to us, but what it does for the collective is a whole bunch of good stuff.
yeah.
And sometimes it's like sucks that we personally have to take these tragedies on the chin.
Yeah.
But I do kind of think it's like a Mandelbrot set or something. Is that the thing where it just keeps, no matter, even if it changes pattern, it's all still connected and keeps the same form together?
Is
The Mandelbrot
DNA
says-
cuts? Now listen to this. Is DNA, the strands of DNA, are they like the cut of like the strings? Like, let's say you have all the strings, right? You have your strings, your harp strings. What if that's just like a cut, split open part of the lines of time that make you you? Do you get what I'm saying? Like they
Say it
have.
again.
Okay, so like imagine the DNA. You see the DNA code of like whatever. I don't know if you could pull up an image, but you know how they find DNA in the chromosomes and all of that.
Uh-huh.
What if the DNA are the lines that
Mhm.
make you and they split that for us to see what it is? They split that and kind of you see the root of inside of each string. What if that's what our DNA is and they can see that string of you, the string of time? You know all those strings like in the Tesseract or whatever? What if that's what our DNA is? The strings of time that makes us us.
Well, that would be I think too, like a lot of it, like almost like your junk DNA a little,
Mhm,
because that would be where your like magic from your ancestors lied. Like if
mhm.
your mom was psychic, there's a chance you would be. Or if like Abbie was clairvoyant, there's a good chance her children are. And so I think that's another reason why they maybe are CRISPRing us all the time.
You know
Like
when they
Abby's a
do
lucid dreamer, and so are all 5 of her children. Like
Yeah, I
that.
really
Yeah.
think that.
You know when they do like a DNA, I guess, analysis and you can see it in like X-ray vision
Layla
almost?
just took the DNA test. Turns out she's 100% that witch. Sorry, that was Nimrod. Say it again, Layla.
The X-ray images of like when they do a DNA analysis, the black and white images,
Okay, I'll
the
find
science
that.
images, those. That's what it looks like to me. It's like they split the lines and then you can see inside. That's what I don't know why it's making sense in my head. Because we're
I
like
oh
puppets, and like we have our lines. They tell us all the time, you know, like we're puppets on strings, marionettes. So what if that is true? The string theory of it. This is
hold
my
on.
brain thinking on its own.
No, but I love this because this is what we used to do on the podcast. Is sometimes
Yeah,
we would just like, I don't have a full thought out idea.
yeah,
Are you talking
like
about
that.
this image?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
Well,
it's like they split open the line, and you could see the energy of the lines that make you. You see what I'm saying?
but
Like a
along
hair
you know,
follicle when you cut
along
into
lines of
it.
what you're saying, though, it's like that 1 gram of DNA can store about 215 petabytes of data, which is like 215 million gigabytes. So it's literally like if you think of the human body as a computer or as a machine, that's like think how many strands of DNA you have in your body. Like you
This
have
is
like this.
mind blowing.
I'm telling you, it's making sense,
No,
man.
wait. What about this though? MS has the best question. Do you think our DNA comes first, or do we get built as the two parents' DNA mix and they both happen at once? And it makes me want to add to that, is your DNA already have to be here, and so you're the magnetism that pulls your parents together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like your
literally.
DNA has to be one of the strings in this whole thing. You have to always exist for you to exist. So is somewhere, are you even if it's just in the moment, even if it's just like sexual lust love, but there's something that happens in this, and everyone, I know exceptions to the rule, and fucking horrible rapes happen too.
Yeah.
Like shit. Like I just hate that sometimes when you're theorizing, everybody has to
Yeah.
like take one word and be like, it's dark
But
gray,
it's still
actually.
it's still part
It's
of the
mauve.
existence. Rape or no rape, it's still part of that.
It's plaid, Chaney.
My friend is was born a rape, and actually, I told him that you're probably one of the best things that ever happened to your mother, and that the rape was totally worth it because she got you. And he was like, that's the first time anybody has ever said anything like that to me. I was like, knowing a mom, like that would be how you'd feel about it.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, I don't know. Love
We
can
are
build a
the
The
bridge.
alchemy.
instruments.
Love
We
can
are.
build a bridge, and Winona Judd was from a rape.
Telling you guys, we're onto something here.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm laughing about rape, everyone.
I laugh about it. It
We're
happens.
just in the like.
I'm not
fucking
gonna
most
cry
related
about it.
chickens.
We've all laughed about it. Shoot.
Uh,
We've talked about
It
it.
makes me when like the story on the news, and they're like, women got raped in New York by an immigrant, illegal immigrant. And it just makes me like, in general, like, yeah, but she still, I mean, she's got raped. Like, this is the thing that we just have to talk about. If you take a legal immigrant off that, you could still just be like, lady got raped in New York last night, but it just
Mhm.
doesn't have a story.
mhm.
So even that sounds so super fake. Like, lady got raped in New York by an illegal immigrant. Like, did they catch the guy? Was it just a random guy on the street, or was it somebody she knew? So she knew it was an illegal immigrant.
Oh
Like,
my gosh, you guys. And
Rape is not funny, guys.
with
We
the
just talked about the idea of how they.
rape's not funny. Chaney, rape is not. I felt like my mom. Rape is not funny.
Like, you don't even know our stories. Like,
My mom
fully.
just came into the room and opened the door. What are you girls in here laughing about?
Rape.
Rape. Rape is not funny. Turn the
It's not
lights off.
funny.
It's time for bed.
But I can laugh about it because, people have lived certain lives,
Yeah,
and
you don't
instead
know.
of fucking crying about it, we're gonna laugh about it because I'm not or nobody's gonna play a fucking victim to that.
period.
So, yeah, make fun of it. I'm gonna make fun of it.
I
Fuck
know.
outta
I
here.
always do find that it's something weird that has happened to certain mentalities, is that if you are more offended than the actual victim, then you need to rethink something.
Yeah.
Thank
Like
you.
something's already
Yeah.
Because
something's
we've
already
discussed rape. Remember, like, I told my stories and
Yeah, you guys,
everything.
we've talked about so much rape on
Talked
this
about being
show.
butt raped and everything. Yes, y'all.
Yeah.
So we can
There's
laugh
probably
about
a timestamp
We
called
talked
butt
about how
rape
many
somewhere
times
on
they
the
were
channel.
it.
roofied.
Yeah.
We talked about when we were younger and things happening to us. We've talked about so much. So if you missed it, we're gonna fucking laugh
We ain't
about
no
it.
fucking victims though.
All right. Haha. Guess why? You know why I'm laughing? Because I'm still here, motherfucker. You did nothing to me. Haha. That's why I can laugh about it. So
And sometimes it makes the atrocities of the fucking world. But the way that the media is using all these fake atrocities of the world, or things that actually attach to us, and then they're trying to like dictate an emotion with that thing to that attaches to all the things. And I just have to also say, in all of the ice of it all, and the ice skaters of it all, and all the stuff, we're also hearing illegal aliens, 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 aliens all the time. And then with the drones and the everything else, and people say blue beam, blue beam, blue beam, aliens, aliens, aliens. So it does seem like for some reason, ice and aliens, those would be words I'd put on the timeline, like an ice cube and the alien face. Those are the emojis right now. But who are you
All
fighting with
right.
in the chat, Layla?
no, I was gonna say something. I'm just gonna let it go. It's not normal in my world, but it's normal in yours, probably. No one said it's fucking normal.
No.
Shit happens. So you got to move on, You just got to fucking laugh about it instead of like, oh, should I cut this way or should I cut this way? Oh, woe me. Oh, fucking feel bad for me. Should we
I
play that
actually
card?
like
Like, I don't get
suicide
people.
is a demon.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know the proper lingo to use, or I don't even know if "jinn" would be the right word, but it's an entity that jumps onto you and then talks, like if you're the observer of your thoughts. Suicide jumps onto you and then talks and convinces you like that it's you, and you
Yeah.
forget that you're the observer of your thoughts. But it's different than depression, it's different than sadness, it's different than darkness or intruding thoughts. Like suicide is a demon. There's I just it it's a weird different thing that is the voice
I'm
of
getting
that.
so triggered right now. Oh my God. It's just like, I really can't. I'm really getting triggered. It's just so fucking ridiculous.
What?
Why?
3 Eyes is like on one right now. And I'm going to call it out. Like, I don't understand how we're normalizing it by laughing. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't care.
Neither do I.
It's literally like I
don't
don't
care.
understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think we all kind of grew up a little bit in this laughing about it. Actually, it's like, oh, we're even fucking talking about it. Oh,
Thank
you mean
you.
we're talking about it at all? That's really the whole thing is that
Yeah.
99% it's happening to, like, I would probably say, without exaggeration, a quarter of the women that you know. Without exaggeration, this has been a real thing that's happened in their life and no one talks about it at all. It's like
Yeah.
how we talk about somewhere in the last 5 years of your life, you've just been somewhere just being yourself in public and looked over and a guy was jerking off at you. And most men don't know that most women walk around with that all the time.
Mhm.
But there's probably a whole bunch of other places that you can go that won't laugh about it. But
And
at
they
least
won't
we're
even
talking
talk
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah.
And they'll
So
say, "Don't talk about it because you're gonna bring shame on your family. Don't mention it. Protect these people. You gotta protect our
it
family
was like
name."
that in a lot of cultures for
Fuck
so
outta
long that
here.
you couldn't even,
Yeah.
if you were a person that got raped, that was equivalent to just you being a fucking like corner whore.
Fucking retard, yo. I can't.
Well, even
So
the funny uncle, there's the phrase funny uncle. Like,
Oh, yeah,
you know that
especially
that was
girls.
just swept under the rug by the family too.
I
The
actually
funny
do
uncle.
laugh at plane crashes. How many you've never laughed at 9/11? I feel like if you're in the conspiracy realm at this point, like this might be you might be too soft
And
for
we are not
here.
laughing at the people who died, obviously.
But
It's like, oh my God. Anyway,
I
I
don't care.
mean,
I'm gonna come up with some good rape jokes.
yeah, so am I.
I'm really gonna impress you guys.
If
I'm gonna
men
dig deep.
if men are gonna make the jokes and they're the ones who are perpetrating the majority of the rapes, and we're not, I'm gonna joke about it because I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm really not.
Well, it seems like we were talking about the great equalizer being the asshole
Mhm.
before, and that's where I was kind of like in there's like this the rape part is your energy being like, no, I don't want to do this. But there's the like, do what thy wilt part of Crowley that he felt like there was a big magic in the asshole. And I would say equivalent, whatever's being done to it is as absurd for women as men because it's still your asshole.
It is though. Yes. You're like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
It's still your asshole. But I don't know. It seems like a homunculus in the making already. Like immediately. Like, I don't know. Or it just seems like it could. You maybe never have hemorrhoids in your whole life, and then you go messing around with your asshole too much. I used to think that immediately, I will tell you, that if one of my dude friends was like, "I have hemorrhoids," like, they would come out of the closet to me, like, at a work thing, whatever. Because there's a lot of times when I was welding that you're, like, with each other for very long hours, and they'd be like, "Oh, I have hemorrhoids," and I always thought in my brain, "They're into butt stuff." Now I know that's not true. I don't think that, but there was a time in my life that I thought that, and I was like, "Oh, the amount of prejudgment I had on some of my guy friends that they didn't deserve it." And it was like straight men that I was just like, "Dang, all these guys into butt stuff." And not that
There
they're not.
I can't think of any examples, but I know that there's, like, things that I used to think like that too, where you'd be like, "Oh, that's totally gay," or whatever, and you're just like,
I will say this,
"Okay."
sometimes if guys are like, "Oh, I hate the smell of pussy," I think, "This guy's a little gay." Like, I just automatically think it because I just am like, "Oh, that's peculiar." It seems like if you were, like, had a ton of testosterone and was like, "I make babies," you'd be like, "I love smell pussy. It just seems like it would be what you kind of like craved. So
Yeah.
I always just am like, huh, find it surprising because I'm a homosexual and I like the smell of it. But I am like, if I smell dick, I'm like, oh. Anyway. Anyway, are we allowed to laugh about that, Three Eyes? Let's ask the fun police.
Fucking
I
A.
I used to have a Yorkie, and every time any other animals came over, like we'd have dogs over, people, our friends would all come to the house, like Friendsgiving or something like that, and everyone would bring their animals, and all the animals would be having fun, running around, and my Yorkie would come out from under the chair and like attack somebody by the neck. Like if the energy ever got away that too much, here came Ernest, the fun police. And he was just a mad little Yorkshire terrorist. But
That's cute. Yorkshire terrorist.
anyone that knows
You
a
know why I
Yorkie,
find it
they know.
funny? I just find it funny that, you know why it's hilarious? Because men speak highly about self-control and they're just strong-minded and strong-willed. And it's fucking hilarious that they find women that they can
Fair
just
enough.
fucking rape, and they think that they could destroy women by putting their dick in a woman's hole. They think that they have that much power that they could destroy a woman just by shoving their dicks inside a woman's hole.
But
I
they
find
think
that
that about
fucking
guys in prison too.
hilarious. Yeah,
Like
for the guy, probably more than the woman. Because for me, and I speak from
I have to say
experience,
though, real quick to MS, when do I smell dick? I just assume
fucking
when
hilarious.
I go into a man's bathroom or into his bedroom, like the way his place smells, like there's this certain smell. And if it smells away, I just assume that's what dick smells like.
Look, I was in the Navy and like in a class with all guys. I was the only female. And so these were all my best friends and we hung out all the time. And I can tell you that guys do this little thing where they do the pinch and roll and everything, but then they'll rub their fingers in each other's faces so you smell their freaking ball sweat. So I know the smell. And I know like all the guys know the smell too of dick because they smell each other's freaking ball sweat just to be nasty to each other.
Yeah, apparently men show each other's dicks off to each other, so they probably go ahead and smell them
Have you
too.
guys ever seen Puppetry of the Penis?
Wait,
No.
the guy turning his
Well,
penis
it's a
into like
couple
a hammer?
guys, and it's almost like the Blue Man Group, where if you see an official one, it's like guys that have passed it off like that, where there's not just 3 blue men. It's just so you can go see Puppetry of the Penis, in a town near you. But it's you're like some of them are obvious, and you're like, oh, okay, every guy could do that, and then some of them you're like, holy shit, like where you're actually really impressed. So yeah.
Good dick smells like the ocean. Probably, yeah. I would say so.
Steve Riggs said, "Yeah, we do that." Told you.
Ew. Ew.
Yeah, Lucy, we're gonna be real. Oh no, who was it? MS. Yeah, MS. We're gonna be real. We're just gonna say it how it is, and that's it. Point
Look
blank.
at I have 2 boys now, man. I know that.
There you go.
Oh God.
I don't know. I don't know. It is fucking I just feel like in the Back to the Future realm that we're in right now, there's like a picture of, my family all standing by each other, and then like slowly they're disappearing or something. It's not my actual family, but I feel like as a collective, that's kind of what's happening. It just feels like we're on this crazy manufactured, but like certain words matter, but they probably don't mean they're real things. Certain dates matter. They keep putting this number up to us all the time. We have all these rituals that we're supposed to ogle and oogle and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Beyonce won again. But didn't, Whitney Houston, we said she died right before a Grammy. We had these plane crashes this year right before a Grammy, and we've been talking about it for the last, oddly enough, 2 episodes. Kobe Bryant was another person that died right before a Grammy.
You know what's interesting about the whole Aaliyah situation and Beyonce? The last video she made, you see Aaliyah in the water like she's ascending, you know? And the next video that came out was by Beyonce, and she comes out of the water. She's in the water and then she comes out of the water. So it's like the ending of Aaliyah is the beginning of Beyonce's video after that video came out of Aaliyah Rock the Boat. Her video, which song was it? I forgot. She's in like this almost like red bikini thing and she's in the water and that's how her video starts. It's like she is the reincarnation of what Aaliyah was supposed to be. Like she was the sacrifice, and that when she died in the water, supposedly with the plane crash. And then you see Aaliyah ascending, and then Beyonce's beginning of video, you see Beyonce coming out of the water, and she starts walking around like, I'm alive. Where am I? Like it was so symbolic. And her death was because Beyonce. What was going on there? What happened? I don't know. But Aaliyah was a big part of this whole scenario. And
Well,
the
it was
plane crash.
always known that R. Kelly was like way old and Aaliyah was way young, and
Yeah.
that whole thing was going on. And then Aaliyah has so many Diddy attachments and Jay-Z attachments. Also, it was rumored that whatever was going on with J-Lo, that there was like this certain schism in her career because she didn't play ball in this certain way. And so songs that were supposed to be hers went to Beyonce.
Yeah.
Saying
And
"be hers" to Beyonce, it felt weird on my tongue.
yeah. And then no one even knows like how much Beyonce takes from Shakira. A lot of shit that Shakira has done, Beyonce has taken and made her own. It's like she's taking all these personas and creating this, I don't know, this queen goddess. I don't know what she is.
Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, Sasha or Kasha. Akasha.
Aaliyah. I think her double A in her name's interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's a Muslim name, by the way, Aliyah.
There's like a few times in life where it's just like you have to say what you will about a certain person at a certain time. Aaliyah was one of the most beautiful people. Like she was just so beautiful.
It means exalted, rising, ascending, or supreme. Aliyah in Islam.
But
Interesting.
yeah. I mean, her name is almost Allah.
Aliyah, Aliyah, Aliyah. Arabic.
Allah, yeah. It's
Uh-huh.
like saying
Exalted.
and Bahamian, Bahamas. There's something, I don't know. There's a lot going on in all the different islands. All of them have their own thing going on. I don't want to speak on each of their own thing. It's almost too complicated. It's like people think, oh, here's all these island chains off of Florida. And then it's like how different Cuba is than Jamaica, how different Jamaica is to Dominican Republic, how different that is to, the Bahamians, how different like certain of like the Virgin Islands, how different St. Martin is than St. Croix, how different St. Martin is from the other side of St. Martin. And so it's like whatever's happening in those little island chains. And then I'm sure the human trafficking. I said all of that without even bringing up Haiti. And so I think they don't have submarines so that they can just go in the water. They get to these same tunnel systems through the water.
Through the veins.
And it would be so much easier to smuggle anything, guns, drugs, humans, in submarines. Or for you to not follow my movement. It's one of the things about the Epstein flight list that everybody is like, Epstein flight log, Epstein flight log. Why can't I just fly my own plane or helicopter or submarine into Epstein Island? Why does anybody need to have a log that I was there?
That should have been a red flag for everybody. attending there, you know?
Yeah, they're
'Cause
so
why do they need my information? I'm going to this place. Why do they fucking need my, 411? Why do they need to keep this logged?
well, every flight for airplanes, you're supposed to log every person. You're supposed to log every passenger. And so they carry that book of it's like their whole flight log. It's like the only reason I looked up
Oh, yeah,
JFK Jr.'s
because you're
death.
shipping things around. You're moving
You're
cargo around.
moving cargo, so you have to have a manifest for the cargo.
Mhm. It's magic. It's all magic, people.
And that is kind of curious. For
Mhm.
every single like you are just a product being shipped
Yeah. You're the
from
straw man.
different lands.
A straw man. I believe that shit's real, the whole straw man things. I know how people feel about it. But I mean, if they're going out of their way to create these documents and certifications and taking the soul of your footprint, taking a blood print, capital letters, lowercase letters, you're pretty much a dead entity. Pretty much. That's what you're considered. That's what everyone's considered right now.
But you are dead. Like this is the like what does
Yeah,
that
we're all dead.
it's like a deed dead, like, you're already there, and, this is why I think there's something so much bigger about the Gulf of Mexico and the Gulf of America. There's, like I think it might be this year that there's an eclipse happening this year or something across Mexico, like a big X, like it's
Mm,
supposed to cross right at the lower part of Texas and right at Mexico, and so
Mm.
then you think of Texas, Mexico, we're all, X app, but it seems like if we were just playing in a philosophy of magic, that is a hex.
yeah, it is.
And it's just curious that if there's, everybody made the big deal about the last year's where it crossed each other, because it all happened to be symbolic places. But I think this year has an interesting one as well. I could be totally wrong. The 33rd day of the year. I don't know. What are you looking up, Layla?
When the letter X came into existence, 1050 BCE. Okay. It was originated as a picture of a fish in Phoenician writing. That's the symbol of a fish. The letter's linear form was established around 1000 BCE. The Romans adopted the X sound and the chi symbol from the Greeks, creating X as we know it today. But is a first symbolic of the fish in Semitic languages.
Well, I think it also, because, it's across so many things that we know, including the back of the Florida flag. And it's Scotland has the blue and white X, but it's also the St. Andrew's cross.
Oh, I'm gonna get a cramp. I feel it.
You guys, I need to send you care packages with this freaking powder. I swear. If I don't have it before a show, I'll get a leg cramp. I don't know what it is. It's probably 3 Eyes doing spells on us.
3 Eyes, I send it right back to you.
3 Eyes is like, "You wanna laugh about rape?" All in her
Here
crystal
you
ball.
go. Here's my fucking voodoo doll. Take that, Layla. Zing. Take that.
Oh,
I'm kidding,
shit.
3 Eyes. I love you. There's no beef. I'm just like, I gotta
We
joke
love
about the
you.
sad shit in life, you know? Can't let it take over me. I gotta joke about it.
What about if my head was really this big to you?
Right?
What about if this was us in real life? I'd have an enormous head. I don't know where Abbie is. She'll probably be there she is. She'll be right back. There she is. She's back.
I have to blow
All
my
right.
nose every couple minutes, so
I
I'm
think
not
there was
doing
some
that like
other stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys about. We briefed the Grammys. We talked about the naked fucking lady. We talked about plane crashes. And if you want to hear more about it and didn't hang out with us Friday, we talked about it there too. Um, let me see. Let me
I'm
see
over it.
if there was anything else. Ding, 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 ding. Mm, mm. Do you know anything else? Super Bowl's coming up. It's the 33rd day of the year, and it's 2-2, which I find interesting. So it's like
Oh,
3-3-2-2. I don't know.
interesting. Yeah.
Um, but I guess that's really it. Unless you guys know anything going on. I mean, we could go on and probably talk about rape more, but who wants that this evening? I don't really know anything else though going on in the week. We Blackhawked.
Oh my gosh, with my house closing and everything,
Yeah,
I
let's
have
talk about
no
real
idea.
life.
Real life.
Yeah, your house is closing this week. That's a
Yeah,
spell of its own.
but I've had flu, and my ex-husband has had flu. He's not moved out yet. I
Opposite like this.
I
for
haven't
me.
been able to go help, and everything has to be done in 2 days. I went and helped today, but oh my gosh, it's a nightmare.
All that. It's just no matter your age, if you're sick and don't have somebody to take care of you is the worst.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, and I always wish, like, I just wish for my friends during that time. Like, I hope you have somebody to take care of you. I always feel so grateful that, like, I have Jules,
Yeah.
and I'm just
Honestly,
like,
sometimes I really don't like it. I don't like to be babied. I don't want that. Just leave me alone. Don't bother me. Like I'm fine. Because I feel like a burden then, and I don't want to feel like a burden. And I know that's so awful to say, but that's how I feel most of the time. Like my mom, do you need this? Do you need that? I'll get like just can you just leave me alone? I got it. I'm okay. Like don't bother me. Like every 5 minutes, do you need something? I'm like, you know what? Stop. Like, this is why I don't like getting sick because I don't want to be bombarded. I'm not asking for attention. I just want to heal and be left alone. So that's me when I get sick. I don't want to be babied or pampered or whatever. Maybe it's a trauma thing. I don't know where that comes from, but
there used to be a show called The State on MTV,
mm,
and there was an actor on there. There was a skit, and that it was the only thing I knew this actor for. And one day I was just walking down like Hollywood Boulevard. That sounds like I was just like Pretty Woman walking down Hollywood Boulevard. No, but I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and I saw this actor from the show The State, and the only skit that I remembered him from in my life, it was like in my mental cabinet, and I had like Tourette's, and so I just said, "I want to dip my balls in it." And so he just like was having a drink and turned like I was just walking by, like so. Yeah, it's weird. I just felt like I should tell that story for you're like a cat, Layla.
yeah, and no, I don't need a baby. That's selfish. No. I don't need a baby.
I do like somebody to like get me a drink.
Or just like sometimes when you're sick, you want to be left alone, but there's certain
Yeah.
things that are better for you if somebody just comes and takes care of it, but you don't
Yeah.
always have the energy to take care of those things. So
Yeah.
if somebody like loves you enough that they're like, no, here's this, take this, drink this water. I'm gonna make you get up. I'm changing your pillowcases, like little weird things that you're like, this is what sometimes sucks that people don't even realize something's wrong with you and I say, "Layla, what can I do for you?" Don't make me fucking think about everything that you could do for me right now. Just do it. Just
Yeah.
do the thing.
Don't
The
talk to me. Just
Chaney
shut the
sent me
fuck up.
soup
Leave me alone.
and cinnamon roll and everything. It was so awesome.
I
Yeah.
hate
That's
when my
weird.
friends are sick though. It's like I am not a person that gives a fuck about money, but I want all the money in the world just so like wherever my friends are living or my family, that whatever they need, I can just make that thing happen.
Yeah.
Like, I could just throw money at it. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes just throwing money at a problem is just like, up. It's not as perfect as being there, but it
Yeah.
helps.
It does help a lot. Oh my gosh.
And everybody's been going I feel like everybody has been a little feeling an energetic way. Like, it's just been even if they're draining from their face, or if they're throwing up or shitting their pants, or, actually like mentally, like I just feel away, or like I have like a Hades, like an angst inside.
Yeah.
Like everybody feels it, I think.
Yeah, because no one knows what the fuck is going on right now. So
No.
everyone's in their head. But if we just turn the TV off, I think it'll all be all right. Just turn their devices off for a little while, you'll be all right. Sometimes it's just that.
Yeah, I was thinking tomorrow, and this is one of the like attitude of gratitude. I think I'm gonna go to the beach tomorrow.
Yeah,
And I
do it.
was like, what'll feel so fucking good? Having a tan.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, yeah.
And it's definitely one of the greatest things that you live in Florida for. And today was such an awesome day outside
Same. It was
that
so beautiful. I was like, what the fuck? We just had snow last week.
That's
For the first time in 200 years here.
I guess it was like 70 degrees yesterday here. I was like, I was sick in bed, but
all my peeps in places that would traditionally be cold this time of year, even if they were like, it was 55 outside, which for me in Florida, I'm like, light a fire. But
Mhm.
55 on a sunny day, they're like, oh my gosh, we went to the park, we went on a hike. Like this doesn't traditionally happen this time of year.
Yeah.
So everybody
I've had my
has.
air conditioner on for the past 4 days.
I remember New York City when I used to work in the Armani Exchange at that time. We had like 2 days of it in January being like a fucking, what do they call it? A heat wave. No, 3 days. It was like 80 degrees or something like that, 70 something degrees for 3 days in the middle of January, December, something like that. And everyone was like bugged out. Like no one was wearing jackets, people wearing shorts. Everyone's like, what the fuck? And that happened like once. I think this was like the only time that happened like in 100 years or so. And people couldn't understand why or what was happening. I think it was like a little test of like weather manipulation back. I'm talking about like 20 years ago. That's when I was around. Yeah, about 20 years ago. Armani Exchange. It was so wild. So wild.
20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like 3 days in a row of hot weather, and they called it a heat wave. And the next day it went back to like fucking freezing. And everyone's like, what the fuck
Like right
was
back to
that?
winter.
Uh-huh.
They were
Like
just
someone,
testing New York, how precise they could get this heat wave.
yeah, it was so weird. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but for some reason it popped into my head while we were talking about weather and whatnot.
I think we're on the 77 loop. I don't know
Mhm.
what it means or like what it means in the Tesseract, but it just like,
These times are close to each other in the Tesseract.
yeah.
They overlap.
Yeah, it's like there's something about the 74 and 47 overlap, or
Yeah.
even the shape of the swastika is really more about the shape of something going on in the tesseract. And this is why we're not allowed to look at it, because there becomes all these fucking narratives of all of these things. And if it was as above, so below, what about if there was some idea of like how a certain stars would be? If we were trying to communicate with each other throughout time, that would last forever, then we would have to do it on some kind of quantum clock
Yeah.
that outlasted. If on the planet they're trying to build a 10,000 year clock, then it's the same as like Doc Brown to the downtown, like doing it to the bell tower. Like we have to synchronize our time so that we are there in the first place to even be there again.
Yeah.
Because if you were, you always were. Like where they're like energy cannot be killed or it just transforms, then you've been here since the beginning.
Yeah.
Like your energy of you was here when let there be light. Like you're that same energy. You've never gone anywhere since the original Big Bang. That's you. Like your part. I don't know. It just seems like
That's why I think it's just the water of it all.
well, Pleiades, like if you take something different, because what is that one? The swastika's Orion's belt. What is it again? You guys, Ursa Major.
Yeah, it's Ursa Major.
And so then
Like,
you think of like the Pleiades, like the seven sisters, and how like no sailors would even, I don't remember if it's when I feel like when the seven sisters are gone, you can go on the ocean again. I think that's the lore. I don't remember though, but it's something very specific about the seven sisters, the stars, and the seven seas sailors would sail the seven seasters. So I feel like there's a lot more going. We would create something for ourselves, or God would create it for us that gave us the answers to everything. And then if you only had control of this time and space, of this dimension, the only way you'd have power over it is to hoard the information if it was always above us. And so
Yeah.
then if we were bound to figure it out regardless, because as little kids, we just stare up at the stars, we're in awe of the stars, blah, blah, blah. So they have to take away a universal symbol that's written about in every language by calling it racist. And then they have to say 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. It's like they're doing all this thing, and it becomes part of the narrative of the things we never can look up again.
Yeah. That was a huge symbol for us.
So when don't look up, it's don't look it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, but it does seem like something else. If they can just tell you like, oh, Dixie flag, that's racist, then nobody looks at the whole history that laid before it.
Yep.
That word, racist. What if it was a real powerful word? And they sure would want to take it away from you. You sure might not be allowed to say it anymore.
Let me search the etymology of it. See what comes up. Because why not? You know?
So whatever it is that they're trying to hide from us, the symbolism, it's so much so in our everyday lives, in our everyday things. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's Peggy Sue Got Married.
The what?
It's a movie called Peggy Sue Got Married. I actually, whatever, I don't have to go into that part of it. But if you haven't seen it, Peggy Sue walks into a version of herself like 30 years before in the same day. So she like on the same day and time, maybe the stars were the exact same. Maybe it was like a 1977 loop to now. She walks in to her old version of herself, knowing everything she knows. And then she tells people like a certain guy's an inventor. So she tells him about things, and he's like all in all of the time space continuum, but also makes like bras and pantyhose and becomes a world famous inventor later on. And then she lays some things to a guy that becomes a world famous writer later on. She becomes like the source of this thing. But it's always that way when she wakes up in her reality again, when she jumps back into her body. But the way that she gets to walk back in to her old body, kind of a quantum leap, is her old Masonic grandfather is the only one that believes her. And so one day he has her go to the lodge when the stars are all at a certain thing and there's a thunderstorm and the energy is all weird in the air with electricity, and they do some kind of ritual over her and she walks back into her old self. So it doesn't, and then that version of her probably woke up like, Grandpa, why am I here? You know? So it's just like, in a way, just because you don't remember it doesn't mean you didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then in another way where people are like, oh, it's more metaphysical than that. It's not you that's there. We all shatter and then the worms eat you and all this thing. No, you guys, I think it's actually you there. I think your observation is like an important thing. They always try to convince us of more numbers, that we've been here for longer than we've been here, that there's more of us than there is. And then they want us to think of a Google and unreachable numbers. And look at all these robots and bots on the internet that literally the three of us could all make 10 robots in the next week, AI bots that people could just communicate with. Yeah. And so then we just assume all the people that we've been communicating with on all of these platforms aren't already these AI bots, because we know they have all the technology they've always had. But what about if it's very important that you have always been you? Like your aperture of God has every timeline that you walk in, it's you.
It's you. Yeah.
Like it's important that it's you. It's not that it's a fragment of you. It's that it's you. And so what about if there's a full memory of that? The closer you get to what we call death now.
Isn't that the Akashic?
I don't know.
That is that what the Akashic is? The whatever that word is that we're talking about. The what is it called?
Tesseract.
Yeah, the Tesseract. There you go.
But even when we were looking at the DNA and how it like turns like that, it's
Mhm.
almost, is it the Riemann sphere where, or the what's the strip called? Where you turn it and no matter how much you turn, Mobius strip, where you can go through it and you're on the same side. Let me see if
Yeah,
I can pull it up.
I think that's what it is called. Thanks, Laura.
Mm.
You the best, Laura. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Appreciate you.
Rink.
That is so awesome.
You're the sweetest. Thank you so much. And I hope your arm gets better very quickly.
Yep.
You heal yourself with your thoughts. You're already healed,
Yeah.
but for some reason you have to honor this journey. And maybe it's letting somebody else in your life be that arm for you for a little bit. That's kind of one of the things I had to learn, is that you, as it felt so good to me that I was in a place that I could just send Abbie soup. It felt good to me in a selfish way. It was a nice thing for Abbie, but it also felt really good to me. When I wasn't letting people do stuff for me, I was taking away their ability to feel like that. And I was doing that my whole life, being so like, I got it. I got it. And I realized sometimes people just wanted to like feel
Damn.
the same way that I was feeling when I was
I
helping.
never thought about that in that way.
It was a Peruvian
That's
friend that actually told me that.
wow, I'm so selfish. Damn, Layla.
Yeah, it was
You
kinda
guys
like
are
she
selfish.
was like, "You are only allowed to turn something down twice." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "The first time it gives somebody." We all sometimes are overly generous in moments where you're like, "Oh my god, I got your dinner." And then you look at it and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it's $500 a person to eat here." Like where
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh shit, I didn't know it was like that." And you're like, "I
Yeah.
just told 6 people I'd get their dinner." You're allowed to say it once of somebody. No, you don't have to. That frees them from their instant, "I'll do it." But on the second time, that's just you for yourself. No, really.
Yeah.
On the third time, you're just being an asshole. Let somebody get you a gift, let somebody buy you a thing, let somebody send you soup, because it's very easy for all of us to be like, "No, I got it." But really, it's just like we're all helpless in the moments when other people are sick.
Mhm.
Whatever the word is you wanna use, I like under the weather. Um, but
Yeah.
we all feel so helpless. So the only thing that can actually help us in that moment is like, "Let me do something for you." And
Yeah.
so, like, even when I was really sick, like, all my sister, she's like, "I know you like, you don't need money. You don't need your wife's cooking for you every meal to a thing. Like, you don't need anything from me. I have to come clean your house." And it was like her shaking me like, and my house isn't dirty. It was just
Yeah.
that she just needed to do something
Yep.
in the moment to feel like she was helping me get through cancer. And so I was like, "Bitch, come fucking clean my house." And I sat like a little like, "Look at me." But it's just, it takes that kind of stuff sometimes. But I guess that's what Abby would say sometimes about the collective in general, is sometimes all of us, like, in this way, um choose the decision to come back to maybe be your tragedy, because it's not just about how, what my life is right now. It's like the way it affects the even 2 people out that become 4 people out that become 8 people out that become 16 people out. It's like we become this projection of love in a way when those tragedies happen, or
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
changes in a way for every one of those people and those people's people and those people's people and those people's people. So I think sometimes that.
Yeah. And that's how I can reconcile like childhood deaths and all of that because really, you know, in that lifetime, that child didn't have a lot that they had to do. They didn't have a lot of like karma to work with, or they didn't really need to level up any big way, but they were helping you. And it doesn't seem like they're helping you, but you had to go through that tragedy to learn to love and learn your soul lessons for that lifetime. It's I think we do that for people all the time.
I like the idea too, where people are like, "Well, why is this person born with a silver spoon in their mouth?" Where the people are always jealous, like, "That person, they have a lucky stick up their ass." And they always have, we decided as a collective. before we
Yeah.
came here to game Earth, that they were going to need a silver spoon, or otherwise they were going to drag the whole entire project down.
They had to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so it's like if we're all playing this like simulation video game Earth and trying to like figure it all out, we decided they got to be rich. If that person's poor, they're going to blow up the whole town. like, like
They
we got to give
cannot
them the
drive the
comforts
poor
of
bus,
living.
okay?
Yeah,
This
we
is
got to
the
give them the
You're a little bit
program.
stronger, so you're gonna have the little, like, the harder life here.
Yeah, you're gonna play this character, you're gonna
But
play
you're
this
gonna
character, and this is how the movie's gonna go, so deal with it. This is
like,
your role, and this is your role,
Layla, I
and
know you can handle it. Like, you're gonna anchor this timeline for us. Like, we need we
yep,
need you to play the hard part.
you're gonna get your ass beat, you're gonna go through this, you're gonna go through that, you're gonna experience this, but this
Yeah.
is an important character, important role.
It's going to be a big role for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
I also think in this way of like if there was a Super Friends, if God is battling the devil for the video game of Earth, do you
Bowser.
think that he's going to send his weakest soldiers to that video game, or do you think it's going to be ones that have to go through some shit? Like they're going to need some chinks in their armor. They're going to need to know how to use their weapons. And the only way you can teach any of your soldiers, unfortunately, how to really become a gladiator is by making them roll around in the pit, making them go up against all the other gladiators. They got to get cut, like they're going to
Mhm.
get blisters to learn how to play their guitar.
Yeah.
So it's just
You
in that
cannot
way.
grow in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form, like in your trade, even without hardship,
Yeah.
without
You
failure.
guys, one time, if I told you, I shouldn't say one time because it's different times that I lost different items of clothing by lighting myself on fire, becoming a very awesome welder. One time I was doing a type of welding that the entire thing gets so hot and it's so smoky in the entire surrounding area. And I'm like this too as a reader. If I start reading, all of a sudden the book over time will get slowly closer and closer to my face. I don't know what it is. And it's people will be like, "Do you have bad eyes?" And I'll be like, "No, the second you point it out to me, I can go back to this and read." And it's just like I would do that welding sometimes. And so when I would
Oh,
concentrate, I would lean in. One time I melted my whole entire welding mask. Like
oh my God.
and I was like, "Oh," like all of a sudden I could see the light spark like in a way, like it's never that bright inside your welding mask, but it was because my mask
What's
itself
going
was like,
on?
yeah. But I lit even the overalls. I have these black overalls that I still wear now. They just have like on part of them, just like burn holes. Cause sometimes slag just gets on you. There's nothing you can do about it. And then you're
Yeah.
wearing clothes and it's hot enough that you'll be like, I don't know. But yeah, any trade to become good at it, you're
Yeah.
gonna end up with your bumps and bruises.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like my bumps and bruises.
And like physical rape sucks, but you know what else fucking sucks? Taxes and that fucking rape.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
It makes me want to like the tax thing, whatever's going to go on. I'm so excited about the tariffs and not the taxes. Why I'm so excited for the corporations to have to pay this fucking debt. And I'm also so excited to figure out where all this fucking money went.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think it all even went to Ukraine. Ukraine
Yeah.
was just somebody we could be mad at for spending all our money.
Yeah.
And I'm so
Like-
excited that we, the people, actually can own shares of stocks now or crypto and not be afraid to actually dabble in that, and how they made us afraid of actually dabbling into real stocks, which made all these corporations the major stockholders of all these whatever shares that existed for whatever company. Now people are not so afraid. Now we have this new world that people are actually becoming shareholders of, and it's not just these big fucking what do you call them, big fish, it's like we the people can actually hold shares for these new systems that are being developed. So I'm excited for that as well. The stock world is changing, the whole industry is changing, so I'm excited for that
401ks are
part.
such a racket. Insurance is such a racket. All the insurance. It frustrates me as much as fucking taxes. The idea that you pay into a system your whole entire life until tragedy strikes and then they drop you,
Mhm.
like this kind of shit is like a spiritual rape.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, and then, like, I can't even afford to insure my kids. Like, I would be working for nothing. And then the whole, like, car insurance, oh my gosh, I just added my teenage daughter. It went from $74 a month to $211. I'm like, lovely.
So where does
Love insurance.
the black rock symbolically of it all mean? The black square, the black thing the Jews wear, the black rock company that owns
Grupo
everything.
Negro.
Yeah,
The
like
Black Rock where they
But then
the
they don't.
Black
Guess
Rock
what? Look
in
at don't
Mecca.
say negro. That's racist.
Mhm.
So it's like even those words, if it was something that was powerful, that was written on some ancient map, and there used to be shit you could find on the internet, like old flat earth stuff, where the old globes, when people in school would actually tear off, like where they actually put the pole through the globe, they put the pole there because there was a sticker where you could see the 4 rivers coming out of the top of the
Yep.
globe.
Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't a conspiracy. Like our grandparents grew up knowing entirely different reality of this place. It almost makes me wonder if we're not on like, all the shapes of the world. Like, are we on a pyramid?
It could be.
Because we
Like,
always just
it's a
think of
pyramid
this.
scheme.
Yeah, it's a bit, you guys, it's a big pyramid scheme. And it's as above, so below, up and down. We're on a top. Are we on a dreidel? Oh shit. Okay, you guys. I love you so much. We have the best fans in the whole world for the over 200 people that are hanging out with us right now on Ladies Night,
much?
which is a little bit of more of a mess.
How
Thomas's
many?
masculinity keeps us on track sometimes.
It
So
does.
do make sure you hang out with us Friday night at midnight, or you can go back and check out any previous episodes. I don't think I have anything to plug. You can check out any old Project Chaney. So I
Yeah.
don't have to say, I know I already said that. You can go check out Layla's big community. Abbie,
Big.
you can send Abbie good healing energy. If
Yeah,
you
please.
practice Reiki, you can send her, maybe if she wants you to. I don't want to go and intrude, and
Do it.
I don't want to
It's
energetically
always
rape
better.
Abbie and not ask her permission.
Big is always better.
I'll accept Ricky.
Even with my cat, like I asked my cat, can I hold you? But this is how I say it. Can I hold you? Can I hold you? And
Can I
he'll
hold you?
fucking tell me no. He has no problem shaking his head no, which is 90% of the time. And Jules always says, I just grab him. I never ask him. And I was like, well, I like cat scent. I prefer it. It doesn't feel as good to hold him unless I ask. And sometimes he lets me. Anyways, we love you guys so much. We will be around Friday, and it'll be an interesting week. If it's big enough, if it's blue beam level shit, maybe we'll do a live episode. Who knows?
Ooh, yeah.
All right, turn your audio down because Juliette Lewis gets loud. Okay.
Love
Good night,
ya.
everyone.
Can you save us, Britney Spears? Can we be saved? God, why is Satan controlling the universe?
Here comes Santa. Here comes the world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing who our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good guys. The forum of the quorum needs a secretive society to advance our philosophies intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, clones, Jamaicans, it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys. The world we used to think we knew is constantly exposing who our possibilities come true. So what we do is call out to the good guys, good guys. Witches, widows, MAGA, mystics, entertaining cunnilinguist good society to advance our philosophies, intentionally, magically good guys. Conspiracy, sex, culture, making it's okay to change your thinking. Good guys, good guys, good guys, good guys.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.